So, if you haven't heard, 2 days ago, a group of congressmen were taken into a room and given the unredacted copy of the Epstein files to read. This man on the screen, Khanna, was one of them. Now, I guess after they were done reading the Epstein files, I'm not sure if they finished reading the whole thing, but they saw the files unredactedly. And they came out of the room, right? Rukana came out and he was asked questions. And his response to these questions is currently making the rounds on the internet right now, is shaking everywhere because he had said in response to one of these questions that if they were to look deeply into the Epstein files, if they were to do a full investigation into the Epstein files, that this is going to lead to the fall of the British monarchy. You guys need to check this out.
Mr. Khanna, a British question, if I may. What do you say to the man formerly known as Prince Andrew and to Peter Mandelson with regard to giving evidence to your committee?
Mandelson may bring down the whole government, from what I hear. He just engaged in terrible behavior. I mean, the allegations are very serious that he was working for Gordon Brown and then feeding information about UK possibly buying euros and having Epstein trade on that. I mean, it is a deeply, deeply troubling. And Epstein's, I saw this interview with Epstein's former girlfriend talking about how someone is a loser if they weren't mentioned in the Epstein files.
There's actually a video of her saying this, and I thought I should insert it here for those who haven't seen it.
He knew everybody that was very powerful. So, like, if you were on the scene and you were powerful, like, to be honest, like, if you're not in those files, it would be an insult because it just means that you were a bit of a loser.
Right. So the people who aren't in the files are losers.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in the files?
Well, of course I am, because it's any journalist that wrote about it.
That's an astonishing attitude, isn't it? You're the loser because you're not in this. I find that jaw-dropping.
With a smile on her face and everything. Like, I'm not exactly surprised that his girlfriend is sick because birds of a feather, right? It's the way she's publicly proud of her association with him and sees being mentioned in the files as some kind of accomplishment or a testament to you being somebody. For the most part, we've been seeing some people that were mentioned in the files trying to claim that it's conspiracy theories, that people are trying to smear their name. Cough, cough, Donald Trump. Bill Gates, another good example, is strongly trying to disassociate himself from all things Epstein, even talking about how everything about him that was mentioned in the Epstein files are false and that Epstein was apparently messaging himself because he never got any emails. He strongly regrets being associated with the guy. But, this is how people have been reacting to them being exposed or mentioned in the Epstein files, right? So to now see her react the way she did, it's not the kind of reaction that people thought that they would see from any of the people mentioned in the Epstein files. So, people are kind of taken aback by the reaction, right? So that's that on that. But let's get back to today's video.
I saw this interview with Epstein's former girlfriend talking about how someone is a loser if they weren't mentioned in the Epstein files. It's a window into the elite impunity, this club. And by the way, I think this is the most vulnerable the British monarchy has ever been. I mean, I heard they were asking the Queen questions about the Epstein class. They ought to ask the King and Queen questions, and maybe this will be the end of the monarchy.
And oh, would I celebrate the day the British monarchy comes to an end. I wish I would be alive to see it. Like, after everything that crown did to African, black and brown people globally, like, why is it even still a thing in 2026? That thing should have been long burnt down, figuratively speaking, of course, right? Because I'm not saying you should go burn down anything. I mean, the crown and everything that it stands for and is about should have been dismantled because it doesn't stand for anything good.
What do you think it could be the end of the monarchy?
Well, if they don't have answers, or if they're implicated with an Epstein class, not a good look for the British monarchy.
What questions does the king have to answer?
Well, the king has to answer what he knew about Andrew. And just stripping Andrew of a title is not enough. I mean, Andrew needs to come before our committee and start answering questions. I mean, look, if you have allegations of a young girl, I don't think the appropriate punishment is you no longer get to be a prince. There's got to be more than that.
Do you think the royal family must have known something they're not telling us?
They need to answer, the king and queen, and I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand the British custom, but what's up with this? That you're going and someone's asking the queen a question, the queen is offended that she's being asking a question? I mean, come on. She wears the same clothes. She eats the same food. She's just a human being. She needs to answer the same questions anyone does.
Congressman, what do you think of the Clintons asking asking for their testimony to be public rather than behind closed doors?
I believe that they should be public. You know, they have cooperated. They're answering all the questions. I'm glad they are, and I think Donald Trump should, but it should be public. I mean, let's have all these hearings public for anyone mentioned in the Epstein files.
In as much as Harry needs to be held accountable for his crimes, and yes, he needs to get more consequences thrown at him for what he did, and by consequences I mean time behind bars, because like we cannot be letting criminals just freely roaming the streets, but that should be across the board. What about the American politicians, the American elites that were mentioned in those files? How come nobody has gotten arrested yet?
You know what I do think Chair Comer should do? He should call a House Oversight Subcommittee on the Epstein hearings and haul in every single person who's in those files who's talked about going to the Epstein Island. That is something I would support. It could be bipartisan. He could have a Republican chair, a Democratic ranking member, have a committee, and let's start the hearings next week.
And for him to say the British monarchy could crumble because of this or from this, that's a very curious thing to say, don't you think? Because now I'm thinking, what more could they have read or found out when they read the unredacted Epstein files that made him say something this, I can say, grand, right? Because regardless of how I feel about the British monarchy isn't a small organization, if I can call it that. This is a system that has been standing for centuries now, right? And there is a lot of effort that goes into making sure that the institution that is the British monarchy keeps standing and keeps running. So I don't know if just one individual, Andrew, and his actions that were exposed in the Epstein files would be enough to bring down the entire British monarchy. I mean, if that is enough to bring it down, I personally don't mind. Like I said, I look forward to the day it's going to come down in any way that it comes down, right? I don't care. But like thinking about it more deeply, my feelings aside, I cannot help but wonder, could there be more that they found out from reading the unredacted files, that more now that we don't know of, that he had in mind in this moment, and that is why he is saying that if they were to investigate deeply into the files, the British monarchy would come to an end. That's just what I'm thinking, that there's probably more to the story that we, the everyday folks, don't know of yet. But anyways, I don't know. I feel like I rambled here and I was mostly incoherent, but I hope you guys can make sense of the points I'm trying to make.
And I just saw a video post right now talking about Prince Charles a lot of children in some rituals. That's why no one is doing anything. And Pambandi, the Attorney General, said, if we prosecute everyone in the Epstein files, the whole American system will crumble. Basically, we've been ruled by like every conspiracy theory about the leaders of the free world and the Western world and all of these powers that be are demonic has literally turned out to be true, and no one's doing anything about it.
I don't know what to say at the end of this video, guys. Like I'm speechless. I have no words. But anyways, I guess I'm going to be leaving it here. I cannot wait to hear what you think about all of this. Yeah. Let's continue conversation in the comment section. I'll be catching you guys in the next one.